Welcome back to That Dad Guy. It's May 27th, 2023. It's time for That Dad Guy Answers, to answer your questions from the week before on the Saturday videos. I've got a few questions to hit up, so we're going to get started here in a minute. Then at the end, I will review the May question that I posed to you guys that will be answered on the first Saturday of the month, which is next Saturday. Is the first Saturday of June. So the cards that I've received already, I'll read those out, show you the cards, and have some fun with that video. But I'll get to that later on. Let's get to today's questions. The first one comes from Amber in Missouri in the United States. It says, if money was no object, what would be the stamps you would want to get for you and your dad's stamp collection? It's a great question. Money was no object. So what I did was I pulled out my father's stamp collection. And I'm going to show you here. Here is page 1 of the Canadian stamps. So the first 5 Canadian stamps to be issued. He doesn't have any of them. There you can see, I'll get a little closer. That one there, the Red Beaver one, is the very first Canadian stamp. I would love to have that in my collection, but of course all 5 of these would be wonderful ones. Now this one here, you get it nice and close. It's listed in the catalog as a used stamp at $135,000. Yeah, so the chances of me ever having that stamp are slim to none. This one here is more of a reasonable target. It can be purchased for about $1,000. So still not within my budget, but compared to $135,000, yeah, I don't think I'm ever going to see that stamp in my life. I might see it behind glass somewhere, but probably not in my stamp collection. And then page 2, he doesn't have any of that either. So really the first 12 stamps that Canada has issued would be nice to have. This one here, Jacques Cartier Blue, nice looking stamp. I really like the early day stamps. Nothing against what comes out now. We put out some beautiful stamps now, and they tell a huge history. But the stamps back here told a history too. And where I got my prices from, I pulled out the Scott catalog, which has nice, beautiful color images of the stamps that are out. And it shows that the first stamp was $1,000. Then the second stamp was about $1,650. Then the third stamp is at $135,000. And then the other one's not too bad after that. Stamp 4, which he doesn't have, is about $225,000. I mean, they're still beyond my price range, but some of those ones can be had for under $1,000. The Jacques Cartier that I was talking about, what is it? $250. So who knows? Maybe there is a rich watch viewer out there that, hey, I've got duplicates of these, and send them on. If you do, sure, that'd be wonderful. All right, so thanks, Amber, for letting me dream a little bit. The next question comes from Paula. She's in the southern United States as well, South Carolina. She says, as a mail carrier, do you notice when the patrons on your route receive postcards? Yes, I'll answer that question. Yes, I do notice that. Do you stop and take a glance at the front or stamps, or do you just treat the postcard as any regular piece of mail? Actually, any piece of mail that comes through that has a stamp on it, I'm going to have a quick look at it, especially if it's from a country outside of Canada. It's nice to see, but I do have some people that are part of stamp clubs that are in town, and so sometimes they get a bunch of older stamps that get put on their envelopes, so those are really neat. And when I see postcards, I have 2 post crossers that are on my route, so that I get to see some postcards from around the world as well. And I do check out the image on the front. So yeah. The next question says, have you noticed any problems caused by washi tape or stickers on envelopes or postcards with any of the postal sorting equipment? I worry that it may come off during the mailing process, but I still love using it. No, stickers, washi tape, all seems to be fine getting through. I've even put some puffy stickers on some of my cards to send off to places, and have wondered too the same thing if they were going to get stuck in the sorting machines. And all the ones that I've sent, people have responded to say that the stickers are still intact when they get them. So it could happen. I'm not saying it won't ever happen, but it is possible to send stickers and puff stickers and washi tape and things through the mail and have it arrive safely. And then the last question she has is, do your children and wife participate in your post-crossing or stamp collection hobby? And the answer is a little. I used to say no, but that's not 100% accurate. They participate in the fact that when they're out and about, they they find postcards, they get them for me. So I'm really happy about that. As far as, so my children, my daughter, she lives in Montreal for school. And so she's sent postcards to me that way. My wife, when we're going somewhere, she'll kind of say, well, you could check this place out. They might have postcards. So I consider that participation in the fact that they're encouraging my hobby, that don't get in the way of saying, you know, you've got too many postcards or you've got too many stamps. I don't hear that very often. I'm not saying I don't ever hear that, but very often, yeah, they're very encouraging to help out. So I thank them for that. But they don't actually send out postcards out to the post-crossing world. They don't look to buy stamps for a collection. They're not participating in that way. All right, so that's it. And she says she has another question 4 that is on my way. The question 4 is the answer for the May, and I have received it already, just to let you know. All right, the next question comes from Eric in Toronto, and his question is, did you enjoy having your brother visit this past week? Yes, Eric, I did enjoy my brother Eric in visiting last week. We were able to catch up, talk, watch some shows, go visit my parents, eat some good food out and around town. It's always great having Eric come to town and have a nice visit, so thank you. The next question comes from Monty in Saskatchewan, and he says, have you ever done any extreme philately? So this is one that I had to look up. I've never heard of extreme philately, and what I gather from what I've read is that if you have an image of a stamp, let's go back because I've got a page here. There is the image of the red beaver stamp. So if somewhere in the world that was a real place or a real thing here, now let me have a better example. Let's find a stamp that is accurate. I should have been more prepared with this question. Bear with me, bear with me. I am flipping through pages quickly. All right. There are some large things that you can find out, the giant potato, the giant blueberry, the giant lobster. So you take this stamp and you go to where the location is. So if I have the giant lobster stamp, I'm going to go to Shediac, New Brunswick. I'm going to take a picture with the stamp and the actual statue itself, and that is extreme philately. You might have Mannequin Piss in Belgium, I believe it is, the statue, and the stamp that depicts that, and go to that place. It could be something within your country. It could be something in another country that you're touring around and trying to find, and you're just creating photos with the stamp and the actual item, and then you upload it. So there's a place where you can say what you're doing and where you found it, and yeah, that seems to be extreme philately. Now, Monty, you can let me know if there's stuff that I've missed about that, because I didn't know anything about the topic, so I had a quick look to see. Haven't done it. Sounds interesting. Sounds like it's something that could be very expensive if you have to travel all over the place, but if you can find stamps that maybe are correspond to things in your area, maybe you can do it that way. So let me know, but thanks. Very interesting topic. All right, my last question I have comes from Ashley K Journals, and she says, what is the last book you read, and what book are you currently reading? All right, so the last official book that I read was a manuscript that was given to me about a couple's journey. I won't give too much about it because it still hasn't gone to print yet. I was asked to read it beforehand, see what my thoughts are on it, and it was a fantastic read, interesting biography, and so I was very happy to read it. I read it in a day, got it. It was nice, quick read, good page, like, wasn't a huge book, but you know, a couple hundred pages, and it was fantastic. But that was the last book I read. Now, other than that, this is the book I'm currently reading. Jeffrey Archer, Hidden in Plain Sight. I love Jeffrey Archer as an author. You can see I am almost at the end of this book, but I haven't picked up this book other than to show it in this video in over a year. It's not that the book is bad. It's just that I find that I haven't had balance enough, or haven't created balance enough to put reading on my schedule. I did the manuscript because it was something that was asked of me. I enjoyed reading it very much. But just to sit down pleasurably, I don't know, that's not a word, to sit down and just to read a book, And this wouldn't take me very long. I'd finish this one real quick if I actually picked it up and read it. I might even have to go back and skim through some of the first part to remember what was in it and the characters for sure. I don't know. I'll get back to that. I love reading, but I found that balancing work and YouTube and my family and hobbies and, you know, day-to-day life, paying bills, that sort of stuff, reading hasn't been in amongst all those things. And exercising, I'm trying to do that too. So maybe that's pushed out things. I suppose I could be reading on the treadmill. I'm not sure how that would work, but maybe I'll give it a try one day. All right, but before that, no manuscripts and stuff. The last book I read was this one here, The Good Neighbor, Fred Rogers. It was a good read. There was some slow parts in it. It goes into a lot of different details. I enjoyed it. But yeah, Fred Rogers. You know, Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. If you don't, check him out. He was a minister that got into children's programming and became a staple on public television for children's shows for a very long time. We have our version of Mr. Rogers in Canada called Mr. Dress Up. They ran simultaneously and actually had some crossover time together. So yeah, it was very interesting. It was nice to read that book. That book came out just before, I believe, the Tom Hanks movie that came out. Yeah, I think they came out similar time. So it's been out a number of years now. Well, that's it. Those are all the questions that I have. So let's get into my question to you folks. And for the month of May, I said, what is your favorite game to play and why? Board game, card game, video game, etc. It doesn't matter. Just curious what games you were interested in playing. And it may not be something that you were currently playing now, but was like your favorite game to play when as a child, things like that. So I've got a few cards in. I'm hoping a few more will trickle in this week. And then next Saturday, I will read those answers to you rather than asking questions for you. So you can write me a question here on this video for 2 weeks' time. Or you can wait until next week and ask your question, and then I'll read it the following week. Next week's questions, or questions happening next week, is just based on the one I just read to you. So I'll be reading the responses to that, and then giving you the new question for the month of June. So that's what you have to look forward to. Hopefully, if you enjoy these videos, and all the other videos I put out, because I put out a variety of different stuff. I put out 2 yesterday, one on my incoming post crossing, and one about a new stamp issue by Canada Post, and the history of the Royal Canadian Mounted Police. So I try to do different things, and hopefully you like that variety. I like having a variety rather than just doing the same thing week to week, video to video. So make sure you subscribe if you like it, and comment if you want to have interaction with me too. And there's always my contact details in the video's descriptions. So if you want to reach out, send a postcard, ask a question that way, or just introduce yourself, or say, hey, I've been watching, I enjoy the content. I always like hearing that. I like knowing that I'm not just talking to myself, that there are other people out there watching and enjoying what I'm putting out, and we're having an interactive and a growing community. So have yourself a magical week. What, Polo? You say like, subscribe, share, and tell all your friends?
Who's a good boy? Who's a good boy?